What is visioning with your vagina? Essentially, what I see again and again is that the wisdom lies between our thighs, and unless we're willing to tap into it, then we consistently live a disconnected life from our bodies. And the deeper I, on a personal level, come into connection with my own womb, with my own vagina, with my own vulva in general, and really understand this ability to renew and allow for almost that decay every month, the deeper I get into this whole feeling of wanting to just be at one with Mother Earth and really just allow for alignment with my own life. And over the years, I've aligned my life so much so that I can see really easily the next steps that I need to take in order to align more for myself. And they're not easy steps. Sometimes they're really huge steps, but they're so necessary. And I reap the rewards because I'm so aware that this is what I need. There's no question, there's no doubt, there's just complete guidance and really allowing myself to trust in that. And that really comes from tending to my body and my nervous system on a regular basis, but also understanding the power that comes from really being with that ability to tend to the fascia within my vagina, and then understanding that alignment comes from this almost this visioning, this manifestation of that space. Because what I'm doing is I'm allowing to move through blocks, I'm allowing to move through almost as like congestion of that space and allowing to be with what's coming up for me emotionally. And that really allows for this free flow from the root up. And if we're not tending to our roots, then we are going to be like those plants that we buy that just send us it in the corner and look really lush to begin with, and then eventually just wilt. And we really have to understand how to look after that plant, that specific plant, and we also, and what it needs. And I remember someone recently saying to me that they had this succulent, they bought the succulent, they put it in this space, it thrived, and they didn't dare move it because they worked out exactly what it needed. And so what we really have to do is acknowledge like what we truly need. And we can't do that very easily in a society that perpetuates this message that there's shame from being within that space. And I speak to that shame quite easily because I am perpetually challenged by putting out the message. So if I find challenge to share this message, then you will find even more so a challenge of being able to connect in with that space. Visioning with our vagina is really a gift that we have with, and it's a resource that we can tap into, and it's a healing journey that essentially once you know how to do it and you start to practice it, it's something that doesn't need that guru, that going into someone's space again and again and again. You just simply can be with it actively as and when you need, which I believe is a true gift as well. So this year, every year at the end of the year, I always offer a visioning process. It's live on the website until about February time, and then I take it off. But we can vision with our vagina in other spaces. It's just that this is a specific vagina visioning for 2025, which means the language around it and all of it is very specific to letting go and being with 2024 and moving into 2025. Though I don't believe in this whole, this is the end of the year. I don't really see January as exactly like the start of something. I kind of really like to be with the cyclical process of like month to month. But if we have to be with the society's perpetual message of new beginnings, new vibe, that sometimes rubs off on us. And I do like to come back to myself and my body and my trust in the knowing that there's nothing massively overwhelming around landing into January, and that I can come back to my body and my vagina and my trust that this is going to be absolutely fine because guys, it's not 12 months ahead of us. It's January and there's another 30 days. So I really allow for the overarching view, and I think it's a great time to do it. I like to do it and refresh it in September. And I also like to tend to it in the end of the year as well. And then I like to check in again in like my spring. And then I just like to check in. I seem to have a tendency to check in every like 3 months or so, which is almost like that quarterly check-in. But I like to be with it every bleed. And this process allows for an overarching view of like of a year ahead, wherever you want to place your year, or of a month ahead. And then it allows you to refresh and come back to it again and again and again, repeatedly as and when you need. So I'm going to put the link below, and I'm really like, this year is like on another level, because this year, if you attend to the space and you work with the space, what this looks like is you learn the tools to come into the fascia in your own vagina. And then once you've done that, there are reflection questions on a jot form, and that form will go automatically to my email, and I will be able to read that form through, and I'll be able to send a video directly to you and it'll be like an unlisted video for just you to view for about 6 weeks. So you have it for about 6 weeks. And then what you can do is just watch it as and when, and take and leave what you want from my reflections of your question. So it's a little bit like how you would work with me on a one-to-one, but without having to be with me on a one-to-one in person. It's all in our own time. So I'm sending so much love, and I can't wait to receive everybody's forms. Much love.